Hello, West High School. This is Principal Mitch Gross, and I wanted to share a few items with you today regarding the law that was passed and signed into law last Friday regarding the fact that the Iowa City Community Schools now have to require and offer a 5-day learning option for all students in person. So let's just go over some of the scenarios and options that your child has as we navigate through this. In accordance with the new law, as of February 15th, you have two options. The first is to enroll your child or remain in the standard enrollment option, which will be now an in-person learning of 5 days a week. So if you're currently a hybrid student and you want to stay in the hybrid option, you need to know that it will now be a 5-day-a-week option. Or you can enroll your child in or remain in the ICCSD online learning program. So if your student is currently an online student, they're able to remain in the online program. If your student is an online student, they want to switch to in-person, they are allowed to do that as well. Here's the good news, that if you want to keep your child's enrollment the same for the remainder of the second trimester and for the third trimester, you don't need to do anything. Everything will be taken care of for you at the school. So if you're a hybrid student, an in-person student, and you want to remain that for the rest of the year, do nothing. If you're an online student and you want to remain online for the rest of the year, do nothing. Where things get a little bit more complicated is if you're wanting to switch your learning models. So to change your students' enrollment, you'll need to do so by this coming Wednesday, February 3rd. And I know that's a very quick turnaround, but we are anticipating have to make several significant changes to schedules given the new law that was signed last week. So if you want to make a change to your child's enrollment, meaning you want to go from hybrid in-person to online or from online into the hybrid in-person model, and really it's not hybrid anymore, so it's really online to in-person or in-person to online. You will sign into your PowerSchool account and click the permissions link on the left side of the page. Scroll to the bottom of the permission list and find the enrollment mode selection and the mode change effect date permissions. Here you will select either option 1 or option 2. Please, you need to do this for every single member of your family who is an ICCSD student. If you elect to make a change, we are strongly recommending that you allow for this change to take place on Thursday, March 11th, with the beginning of the new trimester, the third trimester. The law allows you to begin the new learning model February 15th, but we want to be very clear that doing so will cause major changes to a student's class schedule and teachers for the final 17 days of the second trimester. But if you feel it's absolutely imperative for your child to begin their new learning model on February 15th, please contact myself or your child's counselor, and we will do everything we can to accommodate your request by having as few impacts as possible on your child's schedule. Just a couple things to talk about. If your student is moving to in-person on February 15th, so if you want to go from online to in-person on February 15th, what will happen is you and your child anyway will have a new schedule generated for them to begin in-person learning on February 15th, which will be 5 days a week. If your child was enrolled in an online course that is not offered in the building, your child will still be able to do that course over Zoom. However, all other classes and your actual student schedule will probably change if they were to make this switch during the second trimester yet. We also obviously could not guarantee that your child would have the same teachers for the last 17 days of the trimester. In fact, it's very likely they would have new teachers for the final 17 days of the second trimester. If you have students who are moving to online February 15th, so if you have students who are currently in the building in the current hybrid model, but you now want to switch to online, basically what would happen is they will continue their current in-person schedule, but they'll be doing that remotely. Teachers will discuss options with your student that may include the following: allowing students to Zoom in. It may allow for students to look at a recorded instruction of that day on Canvas. or it may allow for that student and teacher to arrange for some type of independent study that would be going on during this time. So those are some of the options that would be available for your student if they were to go from online, or excuse me, from in-person to online. And again, these are some of the options. It would be teacher-specific and class-specific of what would happen. And finally, for students moving to a new model during the third trimester, basically they will continue in their current learning model until the end of the second trimester, which would be March 9th. And then at the start of the third trimester, March 11th, they would begin their new learning model. If you have any questions about this at all, please contact myself, our admin team, Jenny Eustace, Molly Abraham, Maureen Head, or Garrett Hartwig. And here are your counselors. If your last name is A through D, contact Paul Breitbach. E through J, contact Kelly Bergman. K through Q, contact Greg Yoder. And R through Z, contact Kay DeLeo. Finally, we just really appreciate the patience, flexibility, and grace that you have shown all of us here at West High School as we've navigated really difficult and ever-changing conditions. Please know that we will do our very, very best to provide your child with a world-class education. Thank you for your time. Contact me if you have any questions. Take care. Go West.